Hi and welcome to DreamSpace's online module for design thinking. I'm Michael.
And I'm Niamh.
In this video we're going to talk to you about what exactly design thinking is, look at its 5 key stages, and then look at some products that use it frequently.
But first, what exactly is design thinking?
Design thinking is a creative problem-solving process which is human-centric. This means that it encourages us to actually think about the people we're creating our product or idea for.
Design thinking has 5 key stages, and the very first stage is the empathize stage, where we get to know our users or our target audience a little bit better, what their needs are and the challenges that they face.
Stage 2 is define. Here we're trying to figure out what exactly is the problem we're solving, and we're using that information and data we got in stage 1 in empathize. We're also kind of getting a better, clearer picture of what our users are actually looking for as well.
The third stage is the ideate stage, where we brainstorm some ideas that will help solve the problems that the users face.
In stage 4, we're actually prototyping, so we're taking all the ideas we created in stage 3 and we're creating some scaled down models to see if they actually work and they're beneficial to the user. We don't actually worry about any of the finishing details, and it's all about experimentation and learning on the go and by doing.
The fifth stage is the testing stage, where we actually give the product or service to the users and get them to test it out and see, does it actually solve the problem? And I suppose now is an important time to mention that design thinking isn't a linear process. It doesn't go from stage 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. It actually is a cyclical, iterative process whereby it can go back a couple of stages. So when we test it out with the users, and we might find that actually it creates more problems or it doesn't actually solve the problem that it set out to solve, we might have to go back to the ideate stage after empathizing with the users and actually come up with new solutions and then develop new prototypes and retest them out. And this could happen several times before the final product or service is developed.
That's the theory of design thinking, but now we're actually going to look at some different services and products that are created through design thinking. First of all, we're going to look at Airbnb, which I'm sure you know. It's a service to get temporary accommodation for holidays and so on. In 2009, Airbnb was actually only turning a profit of $200 a week, not very good for a startup company. However, one of their founders started to get interested in design thinking and using it in the company. They then started to put themselves in the shoes of their customers and figured out that they actually needed to change how they listed the different properties, and they quickly started doubling their profits, and they still use design thinking to this day.
A second company that used design thinking in their startup was PillPack. So PillPack is basically a home delivery service for medication. So when they were starting off, they got to know some challenges that the users faced, such as not all users found it easy to pick up or collect their medication or stand in long queues waiting for it. So in order to avoid this, they came up with some ideas of how they could make this process a lot easier. So they developed a website and a private dashboard for customers, whereby that they would deliver prescription medication to their homes. However, when they did develop the prototype and tested it out with some users, they found that actually some of the users thought that the website was quite difficult to navigate. They couldn't find how to actually book in their home delivery. So they had to go back a couple of stages, come up with new ideas, redevelop the website, test it out again, and eventually when the users were happy with the service, it became the company it is today, which was bought by Amazon in 2018 for $1 billion US.
Wow, that's a lot. So our final company that we're going to be looking at is Uber Eats. I'm sure you know of this service. It's a home food delivery service launched by Uber in 2014. And they routinely use design thinking in their innovative workshops. And from these workshops, they are actually able to come up with some ideas like pooling deliveries and those virtual restaurants, which are exclusive to Uber Eats. They routinely state that design thinking is at their core of their practice, as they really need to understand what their users are looking for, and they cycle through design thinking whenever they're introducing a new feature or if they want to just improve their product overall also. So We've seen design thinking in action, and that's the end of our video for today. Hopefully you learned a lot about what exactly design thinking is, its different stages, and it got you excited to take part in the process by looking at some of the success stories and seeing how some of your ideas could be turned into multi-million or even billion-dollar enterprises. Thanks very much. Bye.
Bye.